Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Today's Thursday, April 17th. Hope you're well. We got the news today. Tilray Brands is proposing a reverse split. We'll discuss all of that and more. I did have this as one of my questions. As a reminder, I'm going to be interviewing Erwin, the CEO of Tilray Brands, later on today. And hopefully that should be ready later tonight, if not in the next couple of days. That was one of my questions, and I have too many questions, so that was one less question that I had to ask. And I actually, in that question, was going to basically allude to the fact that why not get it done and remove the dark cloud over the company's head, and that looks like they're going to be taking that route. So we'll discuss all of that and more. I know there's going to be a lot of frustrated people, but just keep in mind that Aurora has done two reverse splits, a 1 for 12, a 1 for 10. Canopy Growth has done one. The names in the U.S. don't have to worry about because they're not listed on the NASDAQ or a U.S. major exchange. And for some reason, people turn bullish on Aurora after a good earnings report. So even if you do two reverse splits, apparently companies don't go bankrupt and people turn bullish on them eventually, given enough time. Just poking a little fun, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. It's my largest MJ portfolio holding. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So here was the article directly from Tilray Brands this morning. They're announcing a proposed reverse stock split and corresponding special meeting of stockholders. So the special meeting is going to be on June 10th, 2025. The special meeting will be held via live audio webcast, which can be accessed on the investor page of Tilray.com. At the meeting, stockholders will be asked to vote for the amendment of the company's Fifth Amendment and restated certificate of incorporation in order to implement a reverse stock split. So that's something, depending on the company and the bylaws and the state laws, etc., you do have to get approval. So they're looking to get that approval from shareholders and implement the reverse split of the company's common stock at a ratio ranging from 1 to 10 to 1 to 20. So essentially, they're going to vote on that, similar to what happened to previous companies in the past in MJ. They vote on a range, and then the exact ratio will be determined by the board of directors. So essentially, they give you a range to vote on. If you approve it, then they could do a 1 for 10, but they could do all the way up to 1 to 20. That's what that means. Erwin Simon, CEO, like I said, who I'll be interviewing later today, said the reverse stock split will better align Tilray's number of shares outstanding with the company's size and scope. A higher price share would per share would mean compliance with the NASDAQ, so they had their NASDAQ price warning. Effectively, they were given 180 days to regain compliance, get back above $1, which they could have gotten an extension as well. But they said that this is one of the reasons why they're looking at doing it, and it also places Tilray in a position to continue executing on our strategic plans, and there's some cost savings in just a second. So looking ahead, we expect this decision to aid in the company's efforts to stabilize trading levels, attract and retain institutional shareholders. So again, when a share price is, a penny stock, when it's down into, the 50-cent range, it's not as attractive to institutional shareholders. They like it whenever a stock is closer to about $5, and it decreases our cost structure by over $1 million on an annual run rate basis. So the fundamentals of our company remain intact, and we are confident that we have the right strategy and team to deliver long-term value for our shareholder base. The company also expects to achieve cost savings of the reverse stock split, which could reduce the company's expenditures associated with Tilray's annual meeting of stockholders. So during the fiscal year 2025 to date, Tilray reduced its total debt outstanding by approximately $76 million. Consequently, net debt to trailing 12 months adjusted EBITDA is less than 1 times. As of our most recent quarter ended February 28, 2025, Tilray's balance sheet had a cash and marketable securities balance of over $248 million, which provides the company with financial strength and flexibility to pursue strategic opportunities and accretive acquisitions. That was one of my questions as well during the interview was, are they looking at opportunities, strategic and accretive acquisitions in Canada? Is it more of the beverage brands in the U.S.? Very interested to hear their thoughts on that. But yeah, I always joke maybe Tilray needs to do 2 reverse splits back to back, and then we can follow in the footsteps of Aurora. People will start turning bullish on them. But yeah, I mentioned that this was, a 50-50 chance that they do it, and it makes a lot of sense. I never even factored in the cost savings So overall, you know, not the end of the world in my opinion. I know there's going to be a lot of ticked off people today, but it is what it is. They also had this Schedule 14A in relation to it as well. If we scroll down, so it just talks about how do I attend the special meeting. So you'll be able to attend the special meeting. You need to visit virtualshareholdermeeting.com/Tilray 2025. SM stands for special meeting, and enter the 16-digit control number. But we'll take a look at another article here and post on X. So Tilray Medical expands offerings to Good Supply Can brand, and that's the medical MJ pastilles for Australian patients. And we know that during their recent earnings call, they mentioned that they're going to be putting a big focus on international, and that has to do with the fact that they have higher margins and they don't have to pay as much in excise tax. In Canada, these companies are paying on average about 1/3 of their revenue is going to excise taxes. So that is huge, right? That could potentially add 150. If we see any improvement to excise tax in Canada, that could potentially add about 150 plus million to Tilray's bottom line, right? That's no small number, right? And that over time could mean the difference of profitable versus unprofitable. But we do have elections coming up in less than a couple of weeks as well. So interested to hear from Erwin what he thinks on that, if they're going to be favorable or more hostile towards the industry. There was a post yesterday from Pierre Poilievre, and I'm not going to get political, I'm not telling you who to vote for or anything like that. But both sides of the aisle really are both really pushing anti-tax. So they really want to lower tax and reinvestment. So investments that are reinvested in Canada would have zero tax. They want to lower income taxes by 15%, just to name a few. They didn't mention anything about excise tax, but that's a good trend if they're very anti-tax and they're wanting to bring taxes down, with regards to income taxes and all this other stuff. Well, it should bode well for the MJ industry, hopefully. And then there was that article out yesterday. New data and poll shows that 64% of Canadians believe that the MJ market in Canada is an important pillar to the economy going forward, and 64% of people want basically want it made easier, and regulations and the government to make it easier for these companies to grow, not grow MJ, grow, in terms of their business, right? And one big issue, the biggest issue, is excise taxes. So hopefully we should see some reform in the not too distant future. I've said for a while now, it's probably going to come around the same time we get rescheduling in the US or the removal of 280E, right? That's a big issue, probably the biggest issue in the US, biggest issue in Canada. Only makes sense that, we would have a level playing field and see them both tackled around the same time. But as for the share price today, we're just sitting down a little over 1.2% at the moment, so nothing too crazy. But we did have a weekly bear flag target of 42 cents, and we did hit 44 cents. So it's entirely possible. Some people in the Power Group private community we're discussing this morning, and one question was, should we see more weakness into the reverse split? Well, we don't know when the reverse split is going to be yet, but yes, typically the stock will fade into that reverse split date and then recover shortly after. That doesn't mean it has to happen that way, but that is typically the expectation and what normally happens. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Really looking forward to the interview later on today. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.